So good evening again. So esteemed honorees, guests, and Kiwanis members, it is my great honor to officially welcome you to the 2023 induction ceremony and the 25th Birmingham Business Hall of Fame. For 106 years, members of the Kiwanis Club of Birmingham have worked to inspire, develop, and support civic growth in Birmingham, and tonight's event is a testament to our ongoing commitment to service. We build by serving. So now is the part where I go off script. So I'm about to introduce two people who are incredible. Angel Monconduit and Lizzie Yates, who did not just chair this event this year, but last year. And I don't even understand what they do for a living. I looked it up on LinkedIn. And it looks really complicated, and I'm unqualified for both of their jobs, and they are big jobs. And in their copious amounts of free time, they have put together an incredible event, an incredible list of honorees. And so I am deeply grateful to Angel and Lizzie for all of their hard work. And yes, give them a round of applause. And without further ado, please, Angel and Lizzie, come and relieve me. Thank you.
What a great way to start the evening. Thank you, JW, for your leadership, and appreciate the opportunity to be with everybody tonight. Good evening. I'm Angel Monconduit, your chair for the 25th Kiwanis Birmingham Business Hall of Fame. So thank you again for being here and welcome. The Kiwanis Club of Birmingham has a long history of contributing to our city's growth through service and community engagement. We continue this legacy tonight as we recognize remarkable individuals, and you all have seen them here in this room tonight, who have significantly impacted our community. Before we begin, I would like to express our gratitude to the Kiwanians in the room and to our committee, because we could not have done this tonight without the help of many people in this room. So thank you to the committee. To our corporate partners, for sure, could not have done it without you. You all have made this evening possible, so thank you. We would like to express our gratitude to our key sponsors, to Alabama Power for valet parking, to Renaissance Bank for their contribution to the reception, and First Horizon Bank for sponsoring the photography. In addition, we couldn't have organized this event without the generous support of the sponsors that you see behind me. So Bradley, Brassfield and Gorey, Bridgeforth Wealth Management, Buffalo Rock Company, Coca-Cola Bottling United, the Feathering Gill Foundation, the Five Stone Group, Forvis, Medical Properties Charitable Trust, Milo's Tea Company, Oakworth Capital Bank, Protective Life, Regions, Spire, Synovus, UAB Medicine, and the Welch Group. We deeply appreciate your support and making tonight a reality. Thank you so much.
For the record, JW has a really talented way of making people sound cooler and more special than they are, so thank you for that. My name is Lizzie Yates, and I have the privilege of co-chairing this evening. And while I appreciate, once again, the recognition that you gave us, I want to double down on what Angel said and really recognize the committee that put this together tonight, because we get to stand up here and look pretty and sound good, but the committee really put a lot of work into tonight. So thank you all. Also to our sponsors, partners, because tonight is supposed to be special for our inductees. Tonight we're here to celebrate. Since 1917, the Kiwanis Club of Birmingham has been dedicated, as Angel said, to uniting business, civic, and community leaders to build a stronger city by serving. You may not know that one of the first projects in the 1930s put Vulcan atop Red Mountain. As we stand here today, we are appreciative and grateful for your continued partnership and commitment to our city, because it's that commitment to our city that's brought us here together tonight. We are honoring those who have contributed significantly to our community's growth. In a way, by celebrating our past, we're looking forward and building our future. That is the significance of the Birmingham Business Hall of Fame. And as we celebrate our 2023 inductees, they join the ranks of more than 140 distinguished Birmingham leaders. But before we continue, please join me in honoring the memory of Kiwanis past president, Albert Fox Stefuniak III, whose vision paved the way for this very event. His legacy, marked by his leadership at AmSouth Bank, Stern AG Asset Management, and Cadence Bank, underscores the purpose of this evening. So let's all take a moment together in silence to remember him as we continue with tonight's ceremony. Thank you.
All right, let's now turn our attention to the heart of this event, the induction of exceptional individuals into the Birmingham Business Hall of Fame. We have the privilege of honoring our first inductee into the 2023 class, Dr. Will Ferniany, retired CEO of UAB Health System.
Will Ferniany, UAB Health System. Healthcare. It's a vital industry in Birmingham, and few people have had a larger impact on the medical world of the Magic City than Will Ferniany. For 13 years, Ferniany guided UAB Health System through periods of tremendous growth, tackling big challenges head-on along the way.
Will was an innovative leader, and I think that he wanted us to be all that we could be. He always stayed very patient-focused and employee-focused, and he left a very positive impact on UAB.
Will was a tremendously impactful leader at UAB. He served 13 years in his last stint here at UAB and made a tremendous difference. We grew from approximately $2 billion organization to an almost $5 billion organization. We doubled the number of hospitals that were in our system. He just made a big difference, both for the hospital, for the health system, and for the patients here. After earning a doctoral degree from UAB in 1983, Ferniany embarked on a career in health administration that would last nearly 4 decades.
He was innovative. He liked to try new things. He would come up with new ideas, sometimes that we'd raise our eyebrows about, but many of them worked, some didn't, but he wasn't afraid to try new things.
He served in several leadership positions at UAB during his first stint at the university before moving on to key roles at the University of Mississippi Medical Center and the University of Pennsylvania Health System. He eventually returned to UAB to become CEO of UAB Health System in 2008.
Will made us a statewide organization, and as a leadership team, we all were focused on the health of every citizen in the state of Alabama and beyond, and our work also had a global impact.
Under his leadership, UAB Health System grew from 5 hospitals to 11, and revenues surged from $2.3 billion in 2008 to more than $5.8 billion.
I think we were a more innovative institution. We had innovation awards for small ideas or medium ideas, and he always supported that through his leadership team.
But the impressive expansion of the UAB Health System was only one measure of his leadership. Among his most important accomplishments was improving healthcare around the state.
I think Will was effective in making the UAB Health System a statewide entity. We collaborated with hospitals all over the state, both large and small, again, for the betterment of every citizen that lives in the state of Alabama and needs great health care.
Ferniany was a tireless advocate for hospitals, physicians, and healthcare providers across Alabama. And under his leadership, UAB regularly found ways to address healthcare disparities in the state, including the creation of several cooperative agreements that expanded access to care.
Our goal has been to provide a system where patients can get the proper care in the proper place, and we'll support rural hospitals and our other affiliated groups really allow patients to stay closer to home to receive the right kind of care and provide capacity at UAB to provide those services that only we can provide.
When COVID-19 struck, Ferniany was instrumental in responding as the pandemic put a significant strain on one of Birmingham's most critical industries.
I think Will made the UAB health system not only a leader locally and regionally, but he also helped us grow into a leader nationally.
Ferniany also played a key role in forming the joint venture between UAB and St. Vincent's Health System, a partnership that will shape the future of healthcare in Birmingham and beyond.
Will was innovative. He was creative. He was driven. He was a stickler for detail, and yet he saw the big picture. Very supported his leadership team. Never forgot a birthday. Always pushing us to do better. So he was quite a leader, I think.
Colleagues say Ferniany's impact on the industry will be felt for years to come.
I think Will's legacy will be one of our most innovative healthcare administrators. He did what he could to help us be relevant, both locally, regionally, and nationally. And I think he supported the Department of Healthcare Administration here at UAB, which he was a proud graduate of.
Please join me in welcoming Dr. Will Ferniany to the stage to accept his award.
I didn't know I was that good. I'm impressed that somebody took the time to do all of that. And I really want to thank the Kiwanis Club for this honor. It is an honor. And I was shocked when I got the call about this. You know, people would ask me all the time, how do you do it? I mean, how do you run something that large? And the answer is really very simple. We had so many good people at UAB. We still have so many good people at UAB. I mean, there's 20,000 plus employees and many of the wonderful people here. Without the team, you know, it says it takes a village, and it does. I mean, people like partners like Ray Watts and Selwyn Vickers, and people that are here like Reed Jones, who I'll pay later for all the nice things he said about me, and Dawn and everybody here. You just can't do it without really good people, and they're really good people. And the other thing that I think is important, and Dr. Watts mentioned it, is, you know, really staying focused on the patients. And if I used to tell the staff all the time in orientation, if you do what's right for the patient, everything else will just fall in place. And that's the truth. And I'm sure it's true in all your businesses. If you do right with the customer, everything else will fall in place. I'm really honored for this, and thank you all so very much.
Our next inductees are Colonel James Sloss, the founder of Sloss Furnaces, Arthur Page Sloss Sr., the founder of Sloss Real Estate Company, and Arthur Page Sloss Jr., the former CEO of Sloss Real Estate Company.
Colonel James Witter Sloss, Arthur Page Sloss Sr., Arthur Page Sloss Jr. There are a few names that define Birmingham and its history. For generations, Sloss has been one of those names. Colonel James Witter Sloss, Arthur Page Sloss Sr., and Arthur Page Sloss Jr. Each shaped Birmingham in a multitude of ways, many of which can still be seen and felt today.
The Slosses have had an impact on Birmingham ever since the city's beginnings.
The family's Birmingham legacy started with Colonel James Witter Sloss and with the railroad.
He was a railroad man, and he was brought to Birmingham to help sort of join the team to try to birth the city. And he was successful. What I didn't know is there was actually sort of a competition going on with Colonel Sloss and another man who was trying to push the railroads closer to Chattanooga. And they were like, you know, Wild Wild West. They were optioning properties, and they finally came down to sort of, confrontation. And he was able to convince the main line to come here to Birmingham.
The railroad allowed Birmingham to firmly establish itself in the industrial world of the late 19th century and post significant growth in the decades that followed, earning its moniker, the Magic City.
I think it birthed the city. I mean, that's why we're here. because we really don't have a river and we have to have a transportation system to move goods. So at that time, if without the railroad, there was no city. And I think he was really instrumental and helpful in making that happen.
Beyond the railroad, James Withers Sloss also constructed pig iron furnaces, including the legendary Sloss furnaces that still bear the family name as a National Historical Site. They remain an iconic feature of Birmingham's skyline.
He was a visionary and he was a good communicator, and he had had a successful career really before he came to work in Birmingham. So I think that he was able to lead and help get things started. Along again, there was a whole team of people that made this place happen, but I think he was one of those people.
History tells us that he was a visionary trailblazer. He made things happen.
2 generations later, another Sloss would make his mark on Birmingham.
My grandfather, I remember because I spent lots of time with him, which is how I got to love real estate. He also loves the city, just a passion for our city. But he was kind of tough. He was cute, and he had a funny sense of humor. Everybody loved him. But, he would tell you what to do, when to do it. He was a dictatorial guy. He just said, we're doing this, we're going that way, get up, let's go. And you did it.
Working with Everett Shepard, Arthur Page Sloss Sr., better known as Pete, was a pioneer of real estate development in Metro Birmingham, constructing neighborhoods and retail projects that set the stage for the area's evolving growth in the age of the automobile.
He was a smart, successful businessman who left his mark on Birmingham.
He also incorporated design and architecture from his travels into his projects, creating some timeless buildings that continue to define Birmingham's style. Those include the Shepherd Sloss Building, Highland Plaza, and 5 Points West, the first shopping center in Alabama.
His real claim to fame was he built 5 Points West Shopping Center, which was the first shopping center, certainly in Alabama, probably in the Southeast. He started in 1939 because he had a vision that cars, everything was centered downtown Birmingham, and he felt that there would be a need to start building additional stores and shopping with cars would begin. So he worked hard for many, many years to convince merchants to leave downtown. And then our life's work, my dad's and mine, was to try to convince people to come back to the city center. So it's been an interesting full circle around built environment.
Arthur Page Sloss Jr. would soon join his father in the real estate world, and the two of them were a dynamic duo. Key projects included neighborhood housing developments in Titusville, Homewood, and Mountain Brook, and further developments at 5 Points West. The father and son worked side by side for the next 25 years.
He and my grandfather were one was kind of harder and one was softer. But they really complemented each other. And I think they're working together. We used to call them Pete and Repeat.
After Arthur Sr. passed away, Arthur Jr., also known as Pete, teamed with his daughter Kathy, building and developing a tremendous portfolio of iconic properties, including Ridge Park, Park Place, and Pepper Place.
He had his father's entrepreneurial spirit, and Petey had a great sense of adventure.
My father had a gentler style of leadership. And again, for my joy has been, or was all my life working with him for so many years. And he was just always supportive and was a great listener and, sort of let you run with ideas and then contributed in so many ways as well.
More than a century after the Sloss family first made its mark in Birmingham, the impact of these individuals can still be felt and seen in the Magic City.
I think they helped build the city. I think, there is built environment, which is really the passion in our family. But I think that how we have helped build the city is important. And I think that this city is important to the world.
We invite Mrs. Carolyn Ratliff, Mrs. Lee Sloss Cora, and Mrs. Kathleen Sloss to come forward on behalf of their father, grandfather, great-grandfather to accept this award.
Good evening. I'm Carolyn Ratliff. I'm here to thank you all for being here. Also thank Kiwanis for this acknowledgement of my dad, Pete, and my grandfather, Pete, and my great-great-grandfather, Colonel Sloss. We are so blessed to have each other as sisters and to live in this fine city. And my older sister, who will speak a bit, is really continuing the work and happened to inherit the gift of visionary. Thank you very much. And John Saxon, where are you? You made this happen. Thank you so much.
My job, I think Kathy's going to talk, I mean, three sisters, it's pretty good. We're just delighted to be here. We brought with us some really wonderful people from Sloss Furnaces which is, National Historic Landmark. I mean, we're so incredibly lucky to have this beautiful, beautiful place in our midst. That is where we all came from. So you guys talked to him, David Arias, Ty Malagani, and Brandon Wilson, who's the head of the Sloss Furnaces Foundation. They're amazing. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for having us. Kathy is the person who has prepared words. So thank you very much. Not many words, I promise. So our dad, Petey, who we call Petey, who always had a twinkle in his eye, used to say that it was a real burden to be named after a furnace. I think that made a little bit of sense since Colonel Sloss built it and then sold it pretty soon after that. So I also would like to thank Kiwanis Club. This is such a wonderful gift to be included as part of the other honorees, which means so much, all of you to us, especially Odessa, who is my lifelong friend and teacher. So it's really great to be here with you and Will too. Anyway, when our good friend, if you all know Philip Jackson, who is now 94 and going strong and quite extraordinary, can beat anybody in bridge who plays him, period. But we were here with him about maybe 5 years ago when he accepted this award for the Jackson family. And I remember him saying that the Jackson family started off on third base, which is a very important thing to acknowledge. And I would say that our family also started off on third base. It's something I've thought about a lot, but I do think that everyone in this room, all of us love this city so much and work so hard for this city. We're lucky to play in this sand pile, as my friends tell me. And I'm thinking too, in a way, the city loves us back. So thank you so much again. It's a great honor, especially to be here with my sisters and with Odessa. Thanks.
Our next inductee is the founder of the Tuggle Institute, Carrie Tuggle.
Carrie Tuggle, the Tuggle Institute. Education, it opens opportunities for all and is one of the chief building blocks of an economy. Few individuals did more to advance education in the Magic City's early decades than Carrie Tuggle. Throughout her career, Tuggle was an educator, philanthropist, and advocate who shaped some of the foremost business leaders in Birmingham.
I think Carrie Tuggle's legacy is easily educating the least of these in Birmingham. And I'm not just talking about Black children, talking about Black children who didn't have a home, Black children who were left to the streets, orphans.
A native of Eufaula, Tuggle and her husband John migrated to Birmingham near the turn of the century. It didn't take her long to start making her mark. Tuggle worked with delinquent boys as a welfare officer, often appearing in court on their behalf. Tuggle eventually came up with the idea of providing housing for orphaned Black children.
She changed the lives of just any number of young Black men and taught them, and most of them came out of Tuggle and became successful.
She initially took the children into her own home, and after successfully fundraising, she opened a one-building school and residence in 1903. The Tuggle Institute was born.
Carrie Tuggle shaped education in Birmingham because she was dogmatic and intentional and aggressive. Those are all positive terms, by the way, in this case, related to her unyielding support of educating Black children. Over time, the Tuggle Institute would educate some of the pioneers of Birmingham's business world, including A.G. Gaston, John T. Watley, and Erskine Hawkins.
The most successful one was A.G. Gaston. In his book, you can read where when his mother brought him here from Demopolis, he entered Tuggle Institute. And his mother knew about Tuggle because she worked for, I believe, either Mrs. Pozitz or Mrs. Love. And she got both of those ladies interested in Tuggle, and they would come up to the school, not only give money, but they would do some teaching at Tuggle Institute. And Tuggle became a fixture in the Enon Ridge community.
Beyond her impact on education, Tuggle was instrumental in the formation of the Jefferson County Juvenile and Domestic Court. After her death in 1924, the Tuggle Institute became affiliated with the Birmingham City Public Schools. The Birmingham Board of Education purchased the institute in 1934, and it was named Tuggle Elementary School in 1936. And that name lives on today, along with her legacy of shaping Birmingham's business world through education.
When I was in school there, we would come out and every morning we'd play the Star Spangled Banner while they raised the flag, and we would stand right at her grave and play the Star Spangled Banner. And at 3 o'clock every afternoon, we'd come out and we would play tap. And they would lower the flag when we played tap. But that's what Mrs. Tuggle wanted to happen at her school.
I think giving the least of these a chance, empowering them, finding a way to educate them and give them and provide them hope, that's Carrie Tuggle's legacy.
We invite Mr. Bill Rimbert to come forward to accept this award on behalf of his ancestor.
I was not told I was going to have to do a speech. But I do want to share, first of all, thank you for honoring my great grandmother. It is a truly an honor. And I wanted to, 4 years ago, I was searching about this lady. And I often wondered what it would have been like at age 10 or 20. I would have known about her instead of 60. I'm an educator too. My wife would tell you I'm very vested in my children, for my students. My brother's the same way. So we don't fall far from our tree. But it's a word called Sankofa, meaning go back and get it. I hope you would share with your children and your children's children, your history, because I think it's important. So this is a tremendous honor for me. Last year, I went to the school and I was just amazed that this is my history. So I get to share it. So again, thank you. It is a big honor, big honor. Okay.
Our final inductee is Kiwanian and Birmingham Civil Rights Institute founder, Odessa Woolfolk.
Odessa Woolfolk, Birmingham Civil Rights Institute. In Birmingham, there are only a notable few who can be referenced by first name, and then no further clarification is necessary. Odessa is one of them. Her name evokes fearless leadership, progress, and an unwavering desire to make Birmingham a better place. It's a name that describes a Birmingham icon, mentor, and legend.
She's timeless. She has lived history. She's taught history. In many cases, she's made history from the civil rights movement to today.
Odessa Woolfolk is Birmingham's hero. To be clear, that's for all generations, since Birmingham has been in inception since 1871. But I would say very critical during the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s.
She's a jewel, and she's a jewel for the city of Birmingham and for the state of Alabama.
Odessa Woolfolk was born in Birmingham in 1932, growing up in Titusville and attending Parker High School.
You knew that Odessa was going to accomplish all the things that she has accomplished. When I first met her at Parker, she was outstanding then, and she's just remained an outstanding person.
She taught at Ullman High School in Birmingham during the Civil Rights Movement, shaping young minds and setting an example at a pivotal time.
She was the person that I think young people could look to. The actual teacher in the classroom at Ullman who would intentionally turn her back to make sure those young people could exit, whether it was out of the window or the front door, and actually participate in the marches down at Kelly Ingle Park and fight for freedom and justice 60 years ago.
Eventually, she moved to Washington, D.C., where she began an impactful career in public policy, shaping the future of several organizations. But eventually, Birmingham would call her home. She came back to her hometown to serve as executive director of the Birmingham Opportunity Industrialization Center and was associate director of the Jefferson County Committee for Economic Opportunity. She also joined the faculty of UAB, a role that allowed her to build on her passion for education.
She taught in high school during the movement, and it went on from there. But what she really does every day, day in, day out with all of us is she's teaching.
In Birmingham, Woolfolk made a substantial mark in several ways, including playing a critical role in the creation of the Birmingham Civil Rights Institute, where she served as the founding administrator.
It's not only her vision, she's not only the face, but everything about the Birmingham Civil Rights Institute today in 2023 is because everything Odessa Woolfolk did in the 80s and the 90s leading up to the opening of the Civil Rights Institute.
It attracts people from all over the country. There in the day that you can't go by there and you'll see out-of-towners there at the Institute. She's done a lot to cause the city of Birmingham to have a changed image.
She was also a founding member of the Board of Leadership Birmingham, an organization that shaped the Magic City for decades.
Leadership Birmingham was based on her belief that if you bring a diverse group of people together who are leaders in different spheres, because there are leaders out there who all have spheres of influence, if you bring them together and you immerse them in the community and they understand the community, then they're authentic leaders and they learn diverse perspectives and they learn how to work together. And she thinks that, and I think these are her own words, that you hold hands, treat people right. You believe that for the equality for all folks, and you base your life on that. And she thinks that bringing people together and to have discussions that are with diverse perspectives is how you learn, and you're not looking for absolute consensus in the community when you're working on issues, but you're looking for absolute understanding, and that's how you get that.
Over the course of her career, Woolfolk served on the region's most influential boards, civic, nonprofit, and for-profit. But perhaps her most important role was her ability to spark important conversations and bring people together to advance Birmingham. There are no shortage of awards, galleries, and honors named for Odessa Woolfolk, but contemporaries say her true legacy will be her impactful leadership.
I think she's so important to so many of us, and I don't think you can overestimate the impact she's had on this community through the years. She's been in every room, in the city, and she's made a difference in every room in the city.
Her dad related to her life and her impact on Birmingham is so long and so extensive and so positive. Everything she did for her generation and all the generations after her. That's why Odessa Woolfolk is Birmingham's hero.
She has ensured that Birmingham has stayed at the center of its importance in the civil rights movement, which has increased, I think, increased the cultural tourism aspect of Birmingham, and also been very important in terms of economic development. I mean, people want to come here for that reason, to learn and to see what happened here. And she has made sure that has happened.
Please join me in welcoming Miss Odessa Woolfolk to the stage to accept her award.
JW, you must have been in every archive there is. You and your team. Gosh, I could say thank you and sit down, but it wouldn't be like me. I was told that, I didn't have to make a long speech, but I could say something. So to make sure that I wouldn't make a long speech, I wrote something. So that's what I will say. I'm joined today by, I'll tell you a story about this cane. My niece decided that they would look at my birth certificate. And so I named the cane Tim for temporary. I hope it gets the message. Greetings to my fellow Kiwanians and guests. I'm honored to be invited to membership in the Business Hall of Fame. I was surprised, frankly, when I got the call. I wondered whether it was not a mistake. As I told John Saxton, where's John? Yeah, I said, John, I have never been employed by a profit-making entity. But I was on a bank board, so that counts. Anyway, my mom told us, when offered a recognition, don't quibble about the reason why, just say thank you. So thank you. Community service has been my lifelong passion. I owe thanks to far more people than time permits me to recall. But I have to say, foremost are my family and that wonderful, nurturing community of Tittersville, which is on the southwest fringe of Birmingham. I could go to Tittersville and be welcomed back in those days when I was not welcome in other places, but that's all right. It turned out okay anyway. My college president, Talladega College, is my undergraduate alma mater, but he challenged us at graduation. And he said we should be, once we got out in the world, servant leaders engaged in community problem solving. He quoted the philosopher who observed, listen to this, the ideal community exists when those who have not been injured are as indignant as those who have. Listen to that. So I accept this honor in the memory of all whose righteous indignation continues to inspire and facilitate what John Lewis called good trouble. A very special shout out to the BCRI founders, Mayors David Vann and Richard Arrington, and to all who have served as board members, staff, volunteers, and funders. We have with us tonight the young team, the dream team. Our chair, Isaac Cooper, is the chair of the, hold your hand up, Isaac. This is a new generation. And our CEO, Dewana Thompson, hold your hand up. And there are several people in here who fit those categories that I mentioned. They've served on the board, they've given money, they've been staff. This institute belongs to all of you, and if it were not for you, it would not exist. So I say kudos to all of you for wherever you serve, and many of the organizations mentioned here are represented, mentioned in that video, are represented here. So just remember that the quest for economic and social justice for all people continues, and it's everybody's business. And remember, it is far more productive to light a candle than merely curse the darkness. Now that's all I'm going to say because I've taken more time than I was supposed to.
So as we conclude tonight's event, I'd like to extend our gratitude once again to our sponsors: Alabama Power Company, Renaissance Bank, First Horizon Bank, Bradley, Brassfield and Gorey, Bridgeworth Wealth Management, Buffalo Rock Company, Coca-Cola Bottling Company United, the Feather and Gill Foundation, the Five Stone Group, Forvis, Medical Properties Charitable Trust, Milo's Tea Company, Oakworth Capital Bank, Protective Life Corporation, Regions, Spire, Synovus, UAB Medicine, and the Welch Group. Your support has been instrumental in making tonight a resounding success. Let's give them all a round of applause. I think if it was not clear before tonight, it is clear now. A diverse group of people built this city, and a diverse group of people are building this city. And my hope is this event and this club will always be a place where those diverse leaders are honored, and the current leaders who are building this city feel welcome and feel welcome to serve. I'm proud that Kiwanis is hoping and leading on that, and will continue to lead to make this an inclusive space for diverse talent in this city. Please join me in giving our newest members of the Birmingham Business Hall of Fame another round of applause. We ask that our honorees and their families stay close to the front of the stage for a few photos. Thank you for being here tonight. Have a good night. We are adjourned.